Good afternoon, folks. Thank you for joining us today on this webinar, getting the most out of the ShareFile features. My name is Tepe Umeno. I'm a senior customer success engineer. Been with ShareFile for 10 years or so. I have Greg here with me, and Greg, if you want to do a quick introduction.
Hello, everyone. My name is Greg Horrocks. I'm also a customer success engineer here at ShareFile. I've been with the company for a little over a year. And if you've attended any of our previous webinars, any getting started webinars, you may have seen me there. But happy to be here and happy to show off some of ShareFile's features.
Thanks, Greg. And let's get started. So before we get started on the demo, just wanted to say thank you for joining us today. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join our webinar, and thank you for being a customer of ShareFile. And for the agenda, we're going to go over some features that we don't typically get to talk about, the ShareFile application, some of the projects and integration features that we've been working with the ShareFile Premium offering, as well as some resources for any users that want to do ShareFile API stuff. Now, that being said, a lot of these topics are topics that are not for someone that's new to ShareFile. If you're new to ShareFile, our recommendation is to go to one of our Getting Started webinars and attend one of those first, or go to our YouTube channel. And on our YouTube channel, we have all those Getting Started webinars recorded for you to view. All right. So let's get the demo started. And the first thing that I want to show you guys is going to be folder invites. Now, folder invites is a great way to invite users to a folder, but maybe you want it available to the public, right? So I have this webinar folder that I created, and from this plus sign over here, under the more options here, I can go in and create a folder invite. And from here, I can do, let's say, a public folder invite, name it that, and invite to the webinar folder, to the general public. And I'll just give them view access and download access. And you have the option to limit the number of signups, as well as expiration period on the link as well too. So I'm going to go ahead and create the invitation, and there's the link right there. And so now if I go here to a new browser, I go to the invitation itself. This is what you're going to see on the folder invite. And so this is what the folder invite's going to look like when you navigate to it. And I'm just going to invite myself here. And here we go. So now, if I log in with that, I've already created this user, but now I have access to that link. And when I look at it, the only permissions I have is the view and download permission. I don't have any admin permissions or the delete options. Right? Okay, then the next one I want to talk about is another way to create like a public upload form or a file drop. Now, what a file drop is you can create a upload link for your employee users. So if I go over here to your create new file drop, I'm going to give it just a generic name. I'm going to make it public. I'm going to also request user information. And then here are all my employees that I can select from. So I'm going to select Greg and myself for the file drop. And what I will do is it will generate a link that I can, again, copy. right? And when I navigate directly to that link, what it's going to do is it's going to ask for, again, name and email address of who is uploading the files. And then up here at the top, you're going to have the option to upload a file. So now when I go to upload a file here, and I navigate back to my ShareFile account. So in my file box, I have that test document now. And so you've created that file drop, right? And it creates it as a link. Now, what if you wanted to embed that file drop into your corporate website? Then you can go in here to the remote upload forms. And when you do add new form, you can create a form here for a specific folder, like the webinar folder that I've created, or you can use a file drop that we've created. And in that, you also have the option to do a return user to the URL. So after they finish uploading a document, maybe they'll be sent back to the ShareFile login page, or just your corporate website, or even just kind of like a terms and conditions kind of website too. Additional things that you can do, you can request the user's information here, or even add custom fields. It's just going to be, so for example, if I did something like, are you a contractor? Then they have a text field that they can fill out within the remote upload form. Okay, so hopefully you guys get more use out of that with the upload forms and the file drops. The next item we want to talk about is a really cool feature called watermarking. So let's say you want to be a little bit safer about who is accessing your content. Let's say assume you made a link to a document, but you want to track who is downloading and viewing that file. And you don't want people to take screenshots of it and then be distributing to random people. Then you can go in here to this bottom section in the advanced preferences called file settings. And in there, you're going to see watermarking. And in here, you can add things like the email address of the user that is accessing the document, first name, last name, company. You can also do custom text. So things like not for distribution, right? And when you hit save there, and let's go back to that test document we have here. So this document, I don't want people to be taking screenshots of it. I want to know who's distributing it if they are taking screenshots of it. So then I can right click on it and I can do share. And when I create a link, I can go here on the three dots, and right here, there's a checkbox here for add a watermark. When you turn that on, then what it's going to do is it's going to change it so you can only do view and download, and you can do client and employee user sign in, right? You can also do employee sign in as well. And then finally, like any other link, you have an expiration date. So when I hit create, and let's just test this out so we can see what it looks like. And there you go. It has the document, my email address, the not for distribution. And when you download it, it comes up as a PDF, and it has the watermarking as well. So the watermark feature will work with Office documents and PDFs. If you wanted to make sure that it came from ShareFile, I would just remove the download option when you're doing the watermarking. So, like for example, when we were doing the watermarking for this document right here, share, and we did the watermarking, just use the view option. Then it will always navigate to the sharefile.com page, and we know it's coming from ShareFile. Yeah, some accounts might have watermarking disabled. I would just contact into our technical support chat, which is again at our community page. You can just do a start chat with us here at the bottom right, and they can either enable it for you, or it might be some kind of regulatory reasons why watermarking is not enabled on your account. Last feature that I want to talk about is going to be co-editing. So co-editing documents, it's a really nice feature that we have. So with like Office documents like Excel sheets or Word docs and such, you can go into ShareFile and you have this edit feature on the right-hand side. So you can edit, and Greg, if you can help me out here, documents directly from within ShareFile. So I could do something like, this is the autobiography of Greg Horrocks, and you can start typing as well. And it shows you who's typing right here in the top right. And then when you close the document, it takes a minute for it to update, but it will eventually upload back to your ShareFile account. And then you'll see, sometimes you'll also see this little red icon here with an arrow, and it shows that the file is being edited. Another cool feature about the co-editing is that you can do it with a link as well too. So when I go in here and I do edit options, I can do just a edit requirement, right? So this one is I can share it with other users. If they have a ShareFile login, then we can co-edit the document just like you just saw. All right, so that was the kind of other features that we don't usually get to talk about. Now we're gonna move on to Greg.
All right. And so throughout this portion, I may take the window and resize it a little bit to show you guys my desktop and access my file explorer. So to get started, we'll take a look at some of the ShareFile applications that you have available to you. This is one of the things that a lot of times we'll talk to customers and they don't realize that they have access to these additional applications. Most of the time they go through the web browser, they access their ShareFile through their subdomain.sharefile.com, and they do everything they need to do. We actually do have a desktop application for Windows as well as Mac for accessing your files and also using Outlook. So we'll go through those today. To get started, when you're in your account, really anywhere, the top bar is going to have an app section. This is going to be where you access the actual installers. So the first option here is apps for Windows. We have ShareFile for Windows. We have our Outlook plugin. We also have a link to the Gmail or the Google store to access the ShareFile for Gmail plugin. Today specifically, we'll be looking at the ShareFile for Windows and ShareFile for Outlook on the Windows platform. On the left side, you also have the link for Mac. Same type of applications there. One is for Finder, and the other one is for the Outlook plugin. So you can download those or get your administrator to download and allow you to install. So ShareFile for Windows is going to essentially give you access to your files directly through it's going to look like a mapped drive. So it's going to be a drive letter in your File Explorer. And it's going to give you functions natively in Windows that ShareFile offers you. When you download files and access them to edit files, they're temporarily stored on your machine, and then changes are automatically saved back to your ShareFile account. So let's take a look at kind of how that looks. So you can see here my File Explorer. Under this PC, I'm going to have an additional option here for ShareFile. Right now it's showing as drive letter F. That's just the default. You can change that later in Windows. And also you'll get at the bottom right hand of my screen the actual ShareFile plugin. So if you are accessing files, any recent files you make changes to will show up under recent files. You also have a queue. So if you upload files directly from your computer into a ShareFile folder, you'll see that queue start to fill up with files that you're uploading or downloading. From the three dots here, we can go and we can go into the settings. So this is going to be some basic settings where you can manage your account that you're connected to. You can only have one account. I know that's been a question before. If you had a different profile on the machine, you could do a separate account, but for this profile, you can only have one account logged in. If you're doing a lot of downloads and your disk is getting full, you can free up space by clearing some of those locally stored files. And then conflict resolution, this is one important thing. So conflict resolution is where you're saving a file that maybe it has other changes before you go to save it. You can have the system prompt you. You can have it automatically overwrite, discard, or save a copy. So it's really up to you how you'd like to handle the conflict resolution when, let's say, you're editing a file and someone else has already made changes to it, and it's a newer version, right? So, all right. So what we'll do here is let me actually go into our webinar folder that Tepe was working out of. And I really just want to show you the power of using this tool. So we'll go directly into our ShareFile F drive. We can see if we go into shared folders here, we have that July 30th webinar folder here. And so what happens, when we go in there and we create a folder and we upload some files. So we're going to go ahead and write in this folder. We'll just say Greg's files. We'll create that folder. And you can see immediately on the desktop version, it shows that folder. So we'll go into that there. And then I've got some files I'm going to upload just to test out. We'll drag and drop directly into the web app. And you can do either way. You can drag into the Windows application, or you can drag into the web app. But you can see as I'm uploading those files here within the web app, they're immediately reflected on my ShareFile for Windows. So this doesn't mean that these files are stored on my local drive. These are not actually stored here. As soon as I go to edit it, it will download a copy of it so I can edit it locally. All right. So another cool thing that ShareFile for Windows provides you is built-in context menus. So you've got a lot of features in ShareFile. You can send files, you can request files, you can send for signature, all sorts of things. Within the ShareFile for Windows application, we still give you access to those features. So right-clicking a file within your file browser, you're going to have a context menu that's ShareFile specific. So when you go to that, you'll have options that you're familiar to within the web app. So we can share this file. We can send it for signature. We can check out the file. If, let's say, you want to be the only person editing, you can actually lock that file for you to edit locally, and then you can check it out when you're done. Download or make available offline. Those are similar. So you can download the file to another directory within your machine. If you wanted to just make a copy of it outside of ShareFile, and then make available offline. If you don't have a file downloaded already, making it available offline means that it's essentially downloading that file to your machine so you can edit it. Let's say you're on a plane for 2 hours and you want to make changes to a file. you can make available offline, and without internet connection, you'll still have that file. A couple things I wanted to show here. So when you go to actually share a file, the workflow is very similar, or it's the exact same as sharing through the web app. And it's going to do it right here within Windows. And I'll show you in a second the other option that will open the web app. But sharing and requesting can be done right through the desktop tool. So you see we want to share this file. We can create a link. We can edit the options. And these are all similar to what you'd see in the web app. So the parity is there. You can make the changes to who can access the link, adding watermarks like Tepe showed, changing notifications. It all works the same way. The only other option here that would open the web app is if you are a premium ShareFiler, you can send for signature. So this actually does incorporate like the document generation. It needs some extra horsepower behind it to get things set up for signature. So when you do send for signature, it's actually going to open that file up in your web app. So if you do want to create a document for signature, it'll open it up in the editor. You can place fields, assign people to sign, things like that. So this will be one of those features that does kind of redirect you to the web app. But for everyday sharing and requesting, you can still use the desktop tool. I've heard a lot of great feedback because it does integrated right into your Explorer. Another cool thing that you get through installing the ShareFile for Windows is you get the ability to save documents through Office directly to ShareFile. So I've got Word here open, and let's say I created a document and I wanted to edit or save back to ShareFile right from Word instead of having to save the file and then upload it. So now you can actually add a place. So if you click add a place within the Microsoft application, you'll see the ShareFile option here. And we'll go ahead to connect it in. We'll type in our subdomain, which is ShareFile Rocks. And let me grab my password real quick. I think we have, yes, we do have Tufe. Let me type my code in here. Give me just a sec. So now once this connects, we do have the other location here as ShareFile. So now directly within our Office application, I can access my shared folders. I can go to our July folder, and there's all those files that I just uploaded. So you can open the files directly from here. You can also save directly to your ShareFile account. It's a really cool feature there. And then the last thing you do get through installing the ShareFile for Windows application is going to be more of an administrative feature. So if you are within an organization that uses a domain and you have group policies, like I said, this is more for the administrators, but you do have a group policy that is installed for ShareFile specifically. So we do have computer configuration and user configuration for the ShareFile applications. So on the computer level, you can do things like deleting the cache on exit if you want to be sure that nothing is stored on the machine for security reasons. You can completely disable the application if you wanted. You can change where the cache is stored, auto check-in and check-out. I mean, there's a whole list of things here that administrators have access to. And on the user configuration here, you can also pre-configure the account that they're logging into. You can enable or disable the Office co-editing, which is available through the desktop. So you can do that co-editing without having to be through the browser. And then you can also create like mount points. So if you wanted to, make a mount point for a specific folder that, maybe the Human Resources Department uses a lot, you can simply give them a mounting point and then give it a drive letter. They have access to all their files without having to navigate through the folder structure. So really cool stuff here. This is, like I said, more for administrators. Some of you might not even know what group policy is, but if you're in an organization that has group policy, it's super powerful to use and combine it with this tool. So let's say we've got, we are in our July webinar folder in Greg's files. Let's say we go and look at the employee handbook here. Tepe, if you want to open that one up.
Okay, give me 1 second. You said the handbook.
Yeah. Should be employee handbook.
Okay, I'm in there. And there I
So
am.
you can see as soon as he popped in, we'll see a little icon up here with his name. And then just like the web app, we can see him edit the file live. So this is whether or not he's using the desktop app as well. It doesn't really matter. Both versions work. So the next application that I want to highlight, so we took a look at the ShareFile for Windows. The other tool that I talk to customers a lot and they also don't realize that they have access to is the ShareFile for Outlook. So ShareFile for Outlook, very similar to ShareFile for Windows. It's going to give you a lot of those ShareFile features, but it's going to integrate directly into the desktop Outlook tool, which many people use on an everyday basis. They're always sending files. They're communicating with clients. They're requesting files. So this integrates directly into that. So once you install that, you'll have an option at the top banner for ShareFile specifically. You'll log in with the same process as I logged in when I added a place into Word. I'll ask you for your account, your login information. And what this allows you to do, we'll go through some of the settings here, is it allows you to attach files directly from ShareFile. It allows you to request files and generate links to a specific folder within your ShareFile account or your file box, as Tepe showed earlier, which is that temporary storage location. It also allows you to send encrypted emails directly through Outlook. So, if you want the body of the message to be more secure and have a login to even view the body, the encrypted email is built into this tool too. So one of the things I wanted to highlight here is for attachments. You can actually have the ShareFile for Outlook automatically create a link for files that are larger than, let's say, 10 megabytes, whatever your email server might have a hard cap on. Some services don't let you send files larger than 10 or 15 megabytes. It really comes down to what service and what your administrator has set up. But you can have the system automatically convert those larger attachments to links directly to ShareFile. So you're completely taking out the file from within the email, and you're just giving somebody a link to access the file through your ShareFile cloud. So our administrator has set a 1 megabyte automatic attachment here, and I'll show you after this where, if you're an administrator, you can change these settings. So it's set to 1 megabyte. So if I go in and I'm a user attaching a large file, 1 megabyte is pretty small, but it's just our example today. I have a file that's roughly 3 megs. So I'm going to drag and drop it here. And you can see the system already detects that it's larger than 1 megabyte, and it creates that attachment HTML code here. This can be changed within your company branding. You can change how this looks, but this is just the default. It's going to give a button that says download attachments, which goes directly to that file. And same thing with attaching files. So that was an automatic. If you wanted to actually attach a file manually, up at the top right, within the new email message window, we do have attach files here. We have request files, and we do have initiate workflow. So if you wanted to just attach a file, you can do from PC, or if the file is already within ShareFile, you can click this option. It's going to browse directly into your ShareFile account, and we can go into our shared folders, go into our July folder, and there's that test document that Tepe was working with. So we can simply select it, add it there, and you can see it actually modified the HTML to show the original file that I drag and dropped, and then that test file that I uploaded manually. And requesting links, or I'm sorry, requesting files is going to work a little bit different. So we can actually customize these settings here. If we click custom, we can get notifications when files are uploaded. You can set permissions here. Anyone public is going to be, anyone can access it, whether you want just no information like name and email. Email recipients is going to require a sign-in, client and employee users after signing in. That's also behind a sign-in. So really you can get specific on how you want to request files. And this last option here, employee users after signing in, or I'm sorry, email recipients. This is going to be if you're sending a request link to somebody who's not in your ShareFile account. So email recipients is going to create that user that you email. It's going to take their email address and it's going to register them as a client user in your account. And so once they receive that email and they're not in the system, they're going to have to go through the process of creating a client user within your account. So email recipients is a very commonly used one where companies want to be secure when they collaborate with external parties. So they'll actually use email recipients so that the user is created in the system and they have to have a login. So there's more tracking, auditing, stuff like that, just more secure when you're requesting and sending links. And then the upload location is going to be by default file box for requesting files. You can also change that to any folder within ShareFile that you have access to. All right. And so I did say I would show the administrative side. So all these settings in here, if I back out to my main Outlook window and I go into the options, you saw some of these options are grayed out. So this is just something that is set up by the administrators. So if we go back into our ShareFile account and you do have administrative access, we'll go into admin settings, we'll go into advanced preferences, and we'll go to enable ShareFile tools. So you can see here the one we're looking at is the Outlook plugin. It is enabled for this account, and you have an option to configure plugin. So when you go here, this is going to look similar to all the options we had within the Outlook application. You can change the automatic, creating a link. You can change this. Let's say I wanted to change it to 5 megabytes instead of 1. The administrator has the option to make some changes here. And then for other options, you can allow the users to change the settings like permissions and things like that. So there's going to be options for prevent user changes, and this will kind of trickle down to anyone using the application. So as an administrator and you want to use the Outlook plugin within your organization, I would highly suggest going through here and going through each tab here and really, change it to what your organization would really want in this application. You can restrict things, restrict sending public links. Maybe you want only links that have a sign-in behind it, stuff like that. So super important as an administrator, come in here and configure that as well. All right. So that's pretty much the basics of the Outlook plugin and the ShareFile for Windows application. The next section I believe I was going to go into is looking at some templates. So give me just a second to switch over to that. All right, so templates, we have a number of different ways you can use templates within ShareFile. So you may have been familiar with folder templates in the past, where you can create a hierarchy of folders that you can reuse in other folders and make it easier for building out these folder structures. Well, templates, from a document perspective is the same way. It's using a document over and over that you use on a daily basis. Or in this case, we'll show you kind of, if you are a project user, how you can save a project as a template. So projects, if you're not familiar with it, is a new premium feature that really goes beyond just a basic folder. Allows you to collect information, keep tasks on time, request information, and really collaborate all in one space. And so projects can be reused with templates. So for today's example here, I do have a template that I've pulled in actually from a pre-built template for onboarding a patient. So this has already pre-populated tasks, specific document requests that pertain to a patient onboarding. And so from a whole project level, you do have the ability to templatize this project. So whenever you're in a project, even if it's the start of the project or if it's towards the end, you can go up to more options and you can actually save this as a template. So the system is going to tell you what will be copied with that template. So document requests, it will remove the due dates, assignees, or statuses. Any tasks that you've created, it will strip the due dates, assignees, or statuses, and the things that won't be copied. So if you add people to this project, much like when you're in a folder and you add clients to collaborate with you, if you add external clients or even team members, those will not be copied with the template. Any comments, so any of the communication and any files that haven't uploaded into this project will be stripped from the template. So you can create, using the create template button here, you can give it a name, and then it will show up in your template section as one that you've created. The other thing you can templatize when you're within a project is the information requests. So information requests within a project, these are forms that you can build yourself, that you can assign to people within the project to collect information. It's similar to when you're building a form to get signed. You can put text boxes, check boxes, things like that to collect information. These can be templatized. So I have one here for a medical history form. If I wanted to make some changes to this, I simply could. I could save it. And then if I go back and I wanted to use this maybe in another project that needs some medical history, I can actually go to the three dots. I can save as template, and it's going to tell you what is like the whole project, what is copied and what won't be copied. So responses, due dates, and any users you've actually requested information from will not be saved in the template, and then you can create template there. So once the templates are created, our template section on the left-hand side, you can see this is my template that I saved for the patient onboarding. So you can quickly access that template by simply, you can manage the access, who has access to it, but if I wanted to use it within the project space, when you create a new project, you would create from a template, and then it brings up the template section, allowing you to select the template that you've created. So alternatively, wanted to touch on briefly the catalog here. So the catalog is going to be an area where you can actually do a couple things here. So we'll go into the template section. These are templates that are pre-built by ShareFile, and we are constantly expanding this. So over time, you'll see this really fill up with great templates you can use from the ShareFile team. So we have industry-specific templates you can select by accounting. We have construction, healthcare, and real estate. Like I said, this will be expanding, but this allows you to install these pre-built templates directly into your account to use and to modify. So the patient onboarding that I showed you, that was actually a template that I installed onto my account. I made some changes to it, and then I can save it as my own template. So really powerful stuff here, and that's in the catalog at the top right. And while we're here, the integrations piece, just want to touch on it briefly. This is where you can actually integrate into external applications, like QuickBooks, Salesforce, FreshBooks, things where you want maybe to get some contact information, some client accounts, you want to pull in some information and use it. This would be where you go to actually install that integration.
All right. So the next items I wanted to talk about is the ShareFile API. So ShareFile API stuff is going to be for the hardcore ShareFile users who want to make automated scripts, do some custom integrations and such. The website for that is going to be just api.sharefile.com. Any account on it within ShareFile can use it. It's pretty simple. You can just log in here on the top right and get the API keys and such. One thing to note with the ShareFile API is that our technical support team does not support it. It's a constantly evolving thing. So if you build code for ShareFile API and it breaks, I would recommend going into our ShareFile community page to just, talk to the community. The ShareFile customer success team is always in here. Our SEs are in here as well too, and we're just constantly checking to make sure that, uh, our users are getting the most out of the product. And even with the feature enhancements, if you have anything about any recommendations for ShareFile, this is where we would suggest you go into post some of those comments as well too.
Click help at the top right, you visit the help center. This is going to bring you to the support page for ShareFile. You can look at getting started articles, the community page, the community threads that we talked about earlier will be listed here. Our docs.sharefile.com page will be here for product documentation. And then we also have our status page if you'd like to sign up for alerts in case anything were to happen with the ShareFile platform. Anything that goes on with the system will be listed here. And then for technical support, while you're here at the support page at the bottom right, you'll have a chat with us button. When you click that, it will allow you to talk to a representative who can submit a ticket for technical support. We're actually going to close this so it doesn't connect, but it'll give you some options to select from. Select the best option for you, and it should either provide some knowledge base articles or connect you with a representative who can try and get you moving in the right direction.
Another thing that we have is a ShareFile PowerShell SDK. So this is, again, automation. And if you wanted to build out PowerShell scripts, you can install the ShareFile snap-in, and we even have some sample scripts that you can use in here and modify these as needed.
Yeah, thank you. It's been great being here today with everyone. Thank you again for attending, and I hope you guys learned something or maybe found a tool that you're going to install today. So, Tepe.
Yeah, thank you, folks. Have a good day.
Take care.